Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful and we're beautiful and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, you must become the victor. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about the situation with Melanie Mack, because it appears that she has managed to irritate a lot of people within the gaming community. And so, what this boils down to is Melanie Mack gave an opinion about the current state of female characters in games, and she doesn't like it. Now, I will be fair here. A lot of people are not being fair to her. I mean, it's brutal out there. I mean, you think that, let me just pull up a post. Like, this, when I pulled up Melanie Mack's name, this is the first thing that came up. You're almost 40, not married, don't have kids, and say this on the internet based off Jesus. There's only one thing that you can do, and it's a scene from The Last Samurai where the guy commits ritual seppuku. The internet is... the internet is brutal, okay? The internet is absolutely brutal. But people are not happy. And you know what they're doing? They're going back and looking up old posts. They're talking about, you're pushing 40, you're a fake Christian, also an ex-liberal, gross, well, you sort of have to combine all these things. I mean, really, it's like, God, you're mentioning Jews. It's just so cringe. Like, there's a time and a place to mention certain things. Like, if you really, like, oh, hey, I disagree with Israel on this. But, like, you're talking about Melanie Mack, and then you just throw that in there. Completely derails the whole thing. Makes you look like a freak. You're not even a gamer. You're just a cringe e-girl. And, I don't know if this is... I don't know what this picture is meant to do or convey. I don't even know if this is real. It seems real. But who knows? The internet's crazy these days. Yeah, so they're talking about her age, and they're talking about... Just blocked 2 of my followers who replied to this tweet with homophobic hate speech. I have no tolerance for that. Good riddance. So, yeah, people are not, and they're not being kind. Oh, man. Yeah, it's nuts. So let's watch this clip from Melanie Mack, and this is from Smash JT, who's currently going at it with the quartering, because the quartering is coming out and defending Melonie, which is nice to see. It's nice to see him come out and defend people that he works with, people that he considers to be friends. But he's crashing out on this. All of this because nobody on the internet apparently knows how to handle any situation these days. And let me give you a piece of advice, Jeremy. Free of charge. I'm not even going to charge you for it. When you're in a conversation on the internet and you're throwing out accusations and you're making declarative statements and you're going out there saying, Smash UT, you're this, you're this, you're this. And then when you get called down on it, for you to say, I'm just farming you for engagement. Like, when you send that to Smash JT, do you understand that any work that you had done up to that point, any time that you had spent on the subject, you immediately look like a roach? You immediately become adjacent to Ian Miles Chong. Do you understand? By you going out there and saying that the only reason that I'm doing this is for money, is for clicks and views, you're basically Ian Miles Chong adjacent. Now, I don't think you're that bad. I don't think you're anywhere near that bad. But understand, it's not a W. It's not a win for you to say, well, I don't even care about this. I don't even care. I'm just doing it for the money. That's not a win. That doesn't make you look good. It makes you look like a complete and total fool. Makes you look like a tool.
Yes, what you're doing is shameful. Yes, I think this stuff is shameful and I don't want it in my entertainment because it's shameful and it's hurting society.
I mean,
Dude, have these people played Final Fantasy? The people complaining, have they played Final Fantasy at all? It's disgusting and it's perverted. No, I don't want it. Because this especially like some of the I mean Final Fantasy we've seen outfits like this and even more revealing. It's just it's art. Do I think that people participating in these activities are losers? Yes. It's not even pornographic at all. I don't see the problem. But you know what? It doesn't mean you have to always be a loser.
Well, obviously that didn't go over well. So we go to the quartercast, and this is her response. This is her addressing this whole situation. And here's the deal. Yeah, you handled it poorly, but it happens. Apparently it happens for people, male or female. You know, Pirate Software, I did a video on him a couple days ago, and he handled it atrociously as well. The quartering wasn't even involved in this, and he handled it poorly. It appears that having the mechanism to understand how to navigate this stuff, apparently it's a lost art. Apparently I'm one of the only people left that understand that doing certain things exacerbates and exaggerates the problem to a degree that it never would have been in the first place. Because in the first instance, she's basically talking about she doesn't want female characters to be overly sexualized, which is something that a lot of people do agree with. The way she handled it was bad, and then the follow-up was bad. It's just like, well, yeah, it's not great. So she's getting a lot of flack for this, and a lot of it is pretty vicious because the internet is vicious. And I've received similar stuff before when I've given opinions that have gone against the grain. And I think that it is a testament to basically the gaming industry that you got to have a thick skin. You have to, or you're going to be eaten alive, because it's not just gooners and, I hate that word, gooners. It's not just perverts and weirdos and stuff. It's also people that like to troll, people that like to get into a fight, people who like to antagonize and engage, people who genuinely disagree with you. There's a whole host of people that may be upset by the approach you're taking, and they're going to come after you. And I mean that like they're going to, post, the Last Samurai. They're going to post memes, post your age. They're going to come after you like this. And I don't even know if this is real or not, but it's like stuff like this. And so, yeah, I think that ultimately what we can take away from this is it's not just people like this that are mentioning the Jews. It's people bringing up old posts that are obviously contradictory. It's people go, oh, well, you don't like this. You don't like, what was it? Bayonetta. Shut up, Mel. That's actually pretty funny. But you see, this right here, I think, is the perfect encapsulation. When you don't handle the situation appropriately, when you fly off the cuff and make these declarative, finger-wagging, nagging, annoying statements, people are going to make this comparison, and it's going to torpedo all the goodwill that you've built up over the years. So without further ado, let's listen to this clip from the courtroom.
Oh, so here's the thing. It's like, I keep seeing this impression that, this originally started a couple months ago, what you saw that with that. I keep noticing in the anti-woke space that all of a sudden people are really kind of posting gooner stuff. Yes. With these games, like notice with Stellar Blade, for example, everything they keep posting on the screenshots. See, we won the culture war, and they're posting the most perverted upskirt screenshots possible and things like that. And it's like, Stellar Blade was actually pre-marketing of the game dropping. The main outfit she wears is a full body suit. They weren't actually marketing the game with upskirt shots and this and that. It was like, oh.
Well, for in the quartering, it's just he's not going to push back on this, but I will. The reason why Stellar Blade is the worst possible example for her to bring up is because the company that made Stellar Blade is the same company that made this game called Nikke, the Goddess of Victory. In fact, they've made multiple waifu gacha games. And for those who are unfamiliar with this game, I just want you to understand exactly what type of studio we're dealing with here.
너무 긴장해서 그런 걸 거예요. 체크 한번 해볼게요. 나는 그때 거기에 있었다.
You ready?
저기 너무 많은 거 아니야? 끝이 없잖아. 주파수 확보했습니다. 바로 지원 요청 보냅니다. 코드네임 네온 접속 완료되었습니다. 빨리! 바로 연결합니다. 네온 연결 성공. 5초 후 발현합니다.
네온이 왔어요. 도움이 되면 좋겠네요.
전방 100m 추가 에너지 반응 확인. 계속 몰려옵니다.
So, bringing up Stellar Blade and Shift Up shows a profound ignorance about the realm that you're entering. And so when you just barrel in to a place that you don't know and you don't understand, and you start just blasting out an opinion, you're free to do that. But I wouldn't advise it. You should think before you speak, and you should know the industry that you're in, and you should know basically where your community is. You see, if I were to get on here and I were to make a video and it were to be extolling the virtues of identity politics or wokeness or, I believe in this and this and this, that have to do with, things that are counter to what I've talked about, my audience would call me out on it and they'd be like, what the hell is this? This is a regression. This is a weird. This reminds me of other content creators that don't seem to mean what they say. And I would lose all my support. I'd lose all my subscribers. People would look at me, askance, and they go, God, this guy's full of it. This guy's full of absolute shit. So when you're examining a game in a studio, you have to know which part of the internet you're dealing with. Stellar Blade was a bad example because the game was made by Shift Up, it's entirely goonerbait. And I still hate that word, and I'm using it, I don't even know why. It is a company that is intentionally designed to attract the people that are attracted to that. And by the way, you calling them losers is not anything that they haven't heard before. And it doesn't change their mind, it doesn't affect them, it doesn't get them to stop. The only thing that it does is put them through that Winter Soldier moment and make them come after you 10 times harder. And guess what? They're going to win. So not only do you, destroy any reputation that you have, not only do you damage your own credibility, but now people are talking about your age and talking about that you're barren, you're not married, bringing up your past. And so now you're in a situation where you messed up. You said something that was stupid, which is fine. Anyone can have a stupid opinion. You doubled and tripled down on it. You quadrupled on it. You handled it as bad as possible. And now you're in the same situation as somebody like Pirate Software, where he didn't learn from his mistakes, and he's doubled and quadrupled down as well. I don't know what it is about narcissism that compels people not to be able to analyze the situation. So my advice to you, Melanie Mack, very simple, and this is biblical, is to shut your mouth, to be quiet, to be silent, to actually listen. I know that's hard for you to do. There's a reason why in the Bible it tells women to shut up, to sit in the back of the church and just open your ears, to not dress in a gaudy, ridiculous manner, to just sit there and absorb the gospel. And maybe you need to do that. Because what you're doing here is absolutely in the wrong, damaging yourself and other people. So that's my position on it. That's my take on it. I think that what she said had some merit. She said it in the most preposterously retarded way imaginable. She then exacerbated the problem. And now we're in a position where now the quartering is crashing out and he's going on a tirade. Don't worry, he'll be fine. He does this every once in a while. He'll go on some drinking spree or stuff. I remember there have been more than a couple times where he's had these Twitter meltdowns. But he'll be back because he is nothing if not resilient. That guy is incredibly durable. So, yeah, I wanted to address this topic. I wanted to talk about it. I do think there is a teachable moment in this. And, yeah, basically is this. When you're in a position where people are telling you that you're wrong, it doesn't mean that you have to immediately agree with them or believe them. But when you start, showing your insecurities, start making blanket statements, ultimately you hurt yourself. Oh, the Gooners are mad. No, a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are upset. Not just the Gooners, a lot of people are. Because you handled the situation poorly, you look the way that you do. And from a Christian ethic, you can have tattoos, you can have all that stuff. You choose not to cover it up, which, that's your prerogative. Some people would look at you and say that you're a freak. And say that, you probably shouldn't be doing that. But you chose not to, which is fine. I actually think that that's perfectly fine. But I also think it's perfectly fine that these people choose to live the way that they want to live. Because one of the things that you may learn if you read the Bible, read Scripture, as you may be doing on your channel, it says that you shouldn't stand in the way of sinners. It doesn't mean that you can't tell them that they're wrong. But ultimately, you telling them that they're losers and they're freaks, especially with the history that you've had. Like, I wasn't aware of a lot of this stuff. This is embarrassing. Like that clip with you and Jeff Keighley. Like, there's a clip of Melanie Mack and Jeff Keighley, and it's one of the most cringe things I've ever seen. I didn't know that. And this is what happens. There's a reason why the Bible is very, very clear about setting your own house in order before you go and try to set right the world. And you, with the past that you've had, it's shameful and embarrassing, you decide that you're going to shame them. And guess what? I'll just be honest with you. I find their history and their anime body pillows and them spending money on gotcha stuff a lot less embarrassing than the stuff that I've seen from you over the past couple days. So that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Take my opinion for what you will. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time.